Someone was asking what I use to skim heads a couple of days ago, and I made this bar out of a solid piece of square steel. I milled a slot down it to take a lathe, tool holder, some Allen keys, trying to keep the cutting tip relatively on centre, and that uses indexable inserts. In this case we've got a diamond insert, and for cast iron heads I use a WN-MG CPN insert. This particular one has 6 cutting edges. As you can see, I've been marking off each edge each time I've rotated it. This one's on its last edge. I'm just going to reface this mx5 head, so I'll come back in a bit when I've set up. So I use a DRO on the Z-axis to tell me how much I'm taking off. Here we've got 1 thou. I'm using 600 or 560 RPM on my machine. As you can see, it goes from 56 to 4,500, which is a really handy range to have. It's a TOS milling machine, made in Europe. I forget where now, Hungary or Yugoslavia or something like that. Czechoslovakia maybe. Let me try and stand back a bit, see if I can't show you the machine. So it's got quite a wide bed, easily capable of doing 6-cylinder blocks and heads, a 6-litre size, which can be, they can be quite long. Excuse all the crap everywhere. I've been so busy. The place is an absolute tip at the moment. So there's the machine. She weighs 2,000 kilograms. So she's quite a hefty machine, much larger than, say, a Bridgeport, and a lot sturdier as well. She's actually got a very wide knee, so there's a lot of support, which really helps with table drop as it travels along. Whereas my Cincinnati over in the other corner, let me just zoom in a little bit. The Cincinnati is 4,000 kilograms, so it's 4 tons. But it doesn't have the table travel of the TOS. It's not as versatile, but it's a really heavy, solid machine, and she actually cuts beautifully. And it leaves a really nice finish, but doesn't quite manage the big heads, big 6-cylinder tractor heads. I'll just come back to this head. Oh, settings. I am currently cutting 1C, which is H8 and 7/8. I presume inches a minute. I'm pretty sure that's what it means, but you get to know your machine and you don't really need to know exactly what it's doing. You just get a feel for your settings. Pretty much goes the same for lathe work. So we have this mx5 head. I'm now going to start the machine. It's already set to for travel in the x-axis, so here it goes. And this is what I would call a roughing pass. It'll pick up all the bits of dirt and leave nasty score lines everywhere. But we'll be doing 1 or 2 more passes after this, anything up to about 5 or 6 passes depending on how warped this head is, because it is warped, you can see that already. As you can see, the cutter is now not touching, so we have a dip in the head. And now it's starting to pick up again. It's cutting on this side but not the far side. Now it's picking up the far side as well. And there we have our first pass of 1 thou. I'll just move it over so we can see it better. So as you can see, this head definitely has a warp in it. And we know it's overheated. When we cleaned it, we could smell all the burnt oil. It actually took quite a bit of cleaning. I'll be back in a sec when I've reset the machine. So I've taken another pass, and we're now taking off 4.5 thou. And this is how we do it. So we still have a little bit more to take off. And I should do that now. So we're now cutting 6 thou, 5.9, 6 thou. And we'll just see whether this cleans up. Still not quite cleaning up, but we need to take a little bit more. I'll come back in a bit. So we now have cleaned up the whole surface, and we're on 11 thou. So what I'm going to do now is I've changed the table feed rate to 6.5 inches a minute, just slowed it down a little bit, and I'm going to run the cutter backwards across the surface. This gives it a slightly wider profile and less of a sharp cutting edge. I haven't changed the depth of cut for this last pass. I'm just going to take a spring cut. I'll be back in a minute to show you the result. And there we are, all done. I've just blown it off with the airline. Try to remove as much swarf as I can. And now it's ready to go back to the customer. The finish is very nice. This particular alloy is sparkling. Little flecks that are sparkling in the camera. It's very smooth. Very nice. Thank you for watching.